I herald Galactus.
In the opening scene, Mr. Fantastic is organizing his belongings and searching for his aloe vera and iodine. Right before his wife, Sue Storm, promised to get it for him, he appeared to be struggling to remember where he had put it. She stepped forward to assist him after using the restroom. Then, after waiting for nearly 2 years, she gave her husband a pregnancy kit that genuinely revealed she was finally pregnant. Sue Storm was reminded by Mr. Fantastic that they had been waiting for this news their entire lives, and now it had finally arrived. The two then had a beautiful moment together. Since it had been 4 years since the Fantastic Four joined together, the scene then changed to an occasion intended to commemorate their anniversary. According to the presenter, their initial spending didn't go as planned because it resulted in a cosmic storm that ultimately changed the DNA of everyone on board. They have distinct abilities as a result of this cosmic storm, or as we may say, a reaction to their DNA. Thus, it has been used by the Fantastic Four to defend humanity and carry out various rescue operations ever since. Red Ghost and his various apes were also vanquished, as we were supposed to know. Since everyone adores the Fantastic Four, Sue Storm was able to broker a peace deal with the Mole Man, and soon after, they took over. Following the presentation, the action moved to the Fantastic Four all seated together for supper, at which point Sue Storm's pregnancy was revealed by Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm. While Sue Storm's twin pregnancy is still being discussed in the media, they all started getting ready for their unborn child. But they also want to know if the child will be born with abilities. Johnny showed up to tell Mr. Fantastic about their new suit design as he was occupied trying to check the ultrasound. Mr. Fantastic seemed uninterested, telling him that he was now more busy. They each received a new transmission just after their talk, albeit a complicated one. Thus, the entire building was without light as they were both getting ready to receive the signal. Sue Storm meets with her husband later that day to check on the baby, as part of their regular routine. But Mr. Fantastic is really anxious about the whole thing, wondering if the baby will be affected by the cosmic storm. Ben Grimm, meantime, is leaving the city when he encounters some children who beg him to lift a car. Thus, in response to their numerous requests, he chose to demonstrate his strength. He was abruptly approached by a woman named Rachel, who invited him out after they had a lovely talk about Ben's early years. In contrast, Mr. Fantastic told his wife that their crypts were finished. But at that moment, a doorway that opens from the sky catches their attention. Human Torch hurried to investigate what that was, only to behold Shalabal, a force beyond human comprehension. The Fantastic Four also hurried to the scene, and at that moment, Shalabal told them that the Devourer would devour their world, and that their planet was now designated for death. Since he is a universal force, there is nothing anyone can do to stop him. Because her time is limited, she urged everyone to cherish their loved ones and make the most of their remaining time to enjoy and rejoice. Galactus will arrive. She took to the skies after finishing her message delivery. Johnny immediately went for her, and as soon as he managed to grab her, she made him crash land. News of this enigmatic woman keeps spreading like wildfire around the city. As the Fantastic Four continue to investigate the identity of the so-called Galactus, they learn that he destroyed and devoured roughly 5 distinct planets. Earth is now in line with other planets, and they find a commonality amongst them. Shalabal existed before Earth was destroyed. As they were all attempting to learn more about this urgent matter, Johnny told the team that Shalabal talked to him in a strange language when they first met, which he has yet to comprehend. Later that evening, Johnny searched for a language that Shalabal spoke and eventually succeeded. After that, he hurried to meet Mr. Fantastic, who told him about their new outfit. During a presentation, the Fantastic Four recalled how they initially acquired their abilities. Additionally, he pledged that they will take all necessary steps to safeguard Earth. They all got ready to venture far into space the following day in search of this galaxies. They all started looking around space, even though they had no idea who the Galactus was. They finally found an energy signature after a very long time, which they followed. They followed this signal to a planet that, regrettably, had been destroyed and engulfed by an unidentified force. Sue Storm made the Fantastic Four's ship invincible, which allowed them to successfully enter the planet. Sadly, this didn't last long because Galactus is strong enough to detect and sense their existence, scanning them all, even Sue Storm's unborn kid. As their ship starts to get drawn into the portal, Shalabal enters the spaceship with ease and tells them that they shouldn't be together any longer. They would be much appreciated by the Galactus. When the crew arrived with Shalabal, they disregarded his plea. She told the Fascinating how Galactus chooses his planet to eat when asked about it. Since it is both her curse and her job, the Galactus does not have a choice. He told them that billions of years ago he was just like them, a man from a different world who was constantly hungry. He admitted that they had all come this far to plead for forgiveness. He freely acknowledged that he is aware Sue Storm is expecting a kid. He is prepared to spare their world, though. However, they grant him the child in exchange, claiming that he will inherit his kingdom and has cosmic power. Sue Storm started to feel pains just as they refused to glorify his desire. She is giving birth. Johnny immediately leaps into the air to battle Galactus by dousing him in flames. Shalabal thus pursued him while he was working. Unfortunately, he only receives a 1% warning before losing control. Shalabal is stopped, at least temporarily, by the Fantastic Four, but a fierce struggle follows. Fortunately for them, they boarded their spaceship and headed home at full speed. Shalabal pursued them and briefly attempted to take the baby, but was unable to do so. As anticipated, Johnny was unable to carry out the command to take her out with a precise shot. I suppose so, considering that he seems to like her. However, with Sue's assistance, who rendered their entire starship invincible, the team escapes after a protracted chase, leaving Shallow to be drawn into the black hole. They were all returning to Earth when Sue started to push her baby out, and after a few prods, she eventually succeeded. Sue has just welcomed her kid into the world. Witnessing this scene was quite emotional. When the Fantastic Four finally made it to Earth after a protracted journey through space, everyone cheered them enthusiastically. After they were able to bargain with Galactus, Mr. Fantastic told the globe that they had no happy news. However, he insisted on receiving a hefty payment in return. He replied that he would spare Earth and that Galactus had asked for his child at that price. Given that they are unsure of their safety, everyone is incensed by this news. Galactus said that he needed the child after Shalabal told him that she had failed her purpose. Galactus thus reprimanded her when Shalabal claimed that he was only a baby. He clarified that the youngster was born with unbounded strength, capable of quelling and sating his insatiable desire. The squad went to their crib to talk about any strategies that would aid them in their battle against Galactus, but regrettably they came up empty-handed. Johnny told his sister later that day that he had learned something from Shalabal's words. He thinks this might provide them with a hint. Outside, however, things aren't going well. The people of Earth are angry at the Fantastic Four for not saving them, citing the fact that they chose a baby above millions of lives, which seems like a legitimate crash-out. Many demonstrators can be seen demonstrating outside their building. They were abruptly approached by Sue Storm and her child, who told them that they would face, fight, and overcome this as a family, and that she would not sacrifice her child for this world or this world for her child. After she entered, Mr. Fantastic came up to the group with a plan. He intended to use the bridge to transport Earth to a location where the Galactus would never be able to find him. According to his presentation and narration, he intends to build teleportation bridges that will be sent throughout the planet. Together, they will attempt to move their planet into a different solar system where Galactus won't be able to locate them for many years to come. All nations on the planet started cooperating right away to do this. This time isn't on their hands anymore. Mr. Fantastic will have a problem, though, because this performance requires a lot of electricity to operate. Therefore, each nation must protect all energy sources and the reason why the world is dark. A few weeks later, we learn that every nation on the planet has a teleportation bridge prepared for the mission. The Fantastic Four immediately got ready to connect everything before carrying out their plan, since doing so created a shield of protection around the planet. Even while this was still unfinished, Shalabal arrived to destroy everything they had labored for weeks, starting an attack on the entire bridge. The team immediately placed the building under lockdown. Regretfully, they saw that Johnny had left them as he went out to stop Shalabal. He played the audio after he was close. We were then supposed to learn that Galactus pleaded with him to spare her family when he visited her globe many centuries ago. She did, however, provide him external loyalty in exchange. Thus, the messages Johnny was hearing were merely expressions of gratitude. It is implied in a flashback that she was an exceptionally skilled scientist. Furthermore, Galactus was the one who transformed her. She shouted aloud as Johnny forced her to face all of her anxieties. "It's time for him to save his world," he reminded her. She said there was no help when Johnny requested her to stay and assist them. She also suggested that he leave this dying planet with the child before departing. Mr. Fantastic came up with the idea for them to bring Galactus to Earth once Johnny returned to the crew. They will remove him from his ship in this fashion, and rather of moving the planet away from one giant, they will move one giant away from the planet. A portal would open for 37 seconds as a result, allowing them enough time to toss him into it. They are unsure of how to bring him there, though. Sue Storm believes that their son should be used as a lure. Despite their distaste for the notion, they have to center the city in the hopes that they will have enough time to trap him inside a portal once he enters the line they have drawn. They called in the Mole Man, who seemed to be in charge of evacuating everyone from the city so that their plans might go through. As Sue Storm, Mr. Fantastic, Johnny, and Ben Grimm drop off the infant at the precise spot they want Galactus to enter, Galactus starts getting ready for his mission. Galactus came to Earth shortly after to steal what was. Then he started searching the planet for the infant. In an attempt to collect, Galactus moved in his direction after he had struck him. The Fantastic Four start fighting. While Johnny took him to the building, Mr. Fantastic changed the infant. Now enraged, Galactus approached the line and headed in their direction. All of a sudden, he started scanning once more and discovered a baby while also understanding their strategy. A fierce battle to stop this enigmatic creature starts right away. However, despite their best attempts, Galactus suffered little to no harm as a result. He attacked Sue Storm and instantly sent Ben Grimm into the air with a single throw. Mr. Fantastic immediately pursued him aggressively, and to be honest, he dealt Galactus a great deal of damage, although this was only a mid-blow. Galactus managed to capture him before continuing to prolong Mr. Fantastic's life. Johnny and Ben Grimm came to his aid just in time. Then, after pursuing the child for a while, Galactus declared that the infant was his salvation. Sue Storm tackled him as he was leaving, and the two got into a power fight. They implored her to stop right away, but she insisted that they go save her son. Sue Storm is unable to hold for too long since she starts to feel lightheaded. She was still able to force Galactus into the line as the timer started, though. Galactus was about to fall into it when Mr. Fantastic managed to take his infant. However, as they were ready to shut the portal, Galactus extended his body and arm. Johnny immediately gave himself the energy to go shove him in. Shalabal sprang out of nowhere to shove him aside before pushing Galactus in with all her might and giving her life in the process. Mr. Fantastic hurried to save his wife right away, but she didn't respond to any of it. In a sad scene, Mr. Fantastic sobbed in agony after so many attempts that everyone understood she was now dead. His infant is the same. After that, he touched her. Sue Storm is abruptly revived in a more dramatic manner. Before revealing the new Fantastic Five, the entire city cheered them on and celebrated their win, praising them for their efforts to save Earth. At that point, the movie ended. To ensure you never miss any updates on new videos, kindly click the bell icon and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.